Wicker Park is one of the most walkable neighborhoods in Chicago, and it's also one of the easiest to get wrong. There are blocks here where you can walk to everything and still have a quiet street at night, and there are blocks or short walk from those where a bar doesn't close until 4 o'clock in the morning. Same neighborhood, same price, two completely different experiences. And you won't find that difference on Zillow or Google Maps. So today we're walking Wicker Park together and you'll see exactly where that changes. And if you're moving to Chicago, I'll show you where Wicker Park is, how to get around, what the different parts of the neighborhood actually feel like, what homes cost, and what I would want you to know if I was your realtor before deciding whether Wicker Park is the right neighborhood for you. I'll also show you some of the restaurants, coffee shops, bakeries, and local businesses, and I'll show you where the neighborhood changes from busy and energetic to quiet and residential. By the end, you should have a much better idea of not only whether you like Wicker Park, but which part of it actually fits the way you want to live. So let's start walking. Wicker Park is about 3 miles northwest of downtown Chicago. It's between Ashland Avenue on the east, Western Avenue on the west, North Avenue on the north, and Division Street on the south. It has its own energy, its own architecture, and a very recognizable neighborhood feel. You also have 2 Blue Line stations here, one on Division and the other one on Damon. So getting downtown is pretty quick and easy. The Damon station is right by the intersection of North Damon and Milwaukee, which is really the heart of Wicker Park. The Blue Line takes you directly downtown, and it also goes directly to O'Hare, which can be a major advantage if you travel for work. You also have buses along Milwaukee, Ashland, Western, Division, North, and Damon, so you have a lot of options even if you don't live right next to a train. Right now, we're walking along Milwaukee Avenue. You have restaurants, coffee shops, bookstores, record stores, fitness studios, clothing stores, and quite a few bars. This part of Milwaukee is busy. There are people walking around basically throughout the day, and the neighborhood does not shut down after work. So if you like being able to leave your home and immediately have somewhere to go, this is a big part of the appeal. But this is also the first thing that I want buyers to understand. Living close to Milwaukee Avenue and living directly on Milwaukee Avenue are two different experiences. If you're 1 or 2 blocks away, that can give you easy access to everything without having quite as much street noise outside your windows, and that is something that a map can't really show you. So let's keep walking because there are some places around here that give you a good idea of what the neighborhood is like. Myopic Books is one of those classic Wicker Park businesses. It's a large used bookstore and one of those places where you can easily spend an hour without planning to. You also have Wormhole Coffee, which is a popular neighborhood coffee shop. Barry's is right across the street from Wormhole, so you have serious workout options right on this block. And a little further down, you have Reckless Records and Sugar Records. And one of my favorite things about Wicker Park is that along Milwaukee, Damon, and North Avenue, you'll find a mix of higher-end boutiques, smaller independent shops, and tons of vintage stores. And your shopping experience will be completely different than shopping downtown or walking through a mall. You can grab a coffee, walk around, browse the stores, and stop for lunch or dinner without having to plan an entire shopping trip. And you'll also find some great art galleries and tons of murals and other public art. So that mix of shopping, art, restaurants, and independent businesses is a big part of what gives Wicker Park its personality and makes it so special and desirable. Wicker Park has definitely changed a lot over the years, but you still see pieces of that older creative identity mixed in with everything that has opened more recently. Now let's talk about food because Wicker Park has a lot of it. There are far too many restaurants for me to name every good option, but I want to give you a few places to show you what you have around the neighborhood. Antique Taco is right here on Milwaukee. It's a casual, easy, and has been a part of a neighborhood for years. Then you have Big Star over on Damon, right across from Wicker Park. It's another popular spot for tacos, margaritas, and outdoor seating. Pizza Brewery and Pizzeria is nearby on North Avenue. It's a brewery, but people also know it for its New Haven style pizza. For coffee, Wormhole is probably one of the most recognizable local options. And one of my personal favorites is Colombo, right by Damon Blue Line stop. They make a killer cortado, So this is one of the things that Wicker Park does really well. You're not limited to one little restaurant strip. You have places along Milwaukee, Damon, North Avenue, Division, and Ashland. So depending on where you live, you can have a completely different group of regular places that you walk to. And while we are talking about restaurants and places to go, we should talk about the nightlife too. You have the Violet Hour if you want a proper cocktail bar. You have Emporium if you want drinks, arcade games, DJs, or live events. Subterranean has live music right here at the Six Corners. Mixed Beer Garden is another casual option that stays open late and has live music and DJs. And at the Robbie, you have the Up Room, which is a rooftop cocktail bar with one of the better skyline views from this side of the city. So you can absolutely have a great night out without leaving Wicker Park. And we're now at Wicker Park, the actual park, the neighborhood. It's not one of Chicago's largest parks, but it's an important neighborhood gathering place. There's a field house, a playground, green space, a dog-friendly area, programming throughout the year. You'll see people sitting on the grass, walking their dogs, bringing their kids to the playground, or meeting friends before heading somewhere nearby. You're also right next to the Damon Blue Line station and the Six Corners intersection. This is where a Christmas lighting ceremony takes place each December, and you can see tons of families gathering together. And since we are standing in a park that the neighborhood is named after, this is probably a good time to talk about how Wicker Park got started. Charles and Joel Wicker purchased land in this area in the 19th century, and both the park and the neighborhood were named after them. And after the Great Chicago Fire in 1871, more people started moving away from the center of the city here, and some very large and impressive homes were built around the park at that time. German and Scandinavian families were among the earlier residents, and later Polish families moved into the area, followed by a large Puerto Rican community. And then in the 1980s and 1990s, Wicker Park became known for artists, musicians, galleries, and independent businesses. And since then, Wicker Park has experienced a huge amount of development. New homes and businesses were added, and home prices have skyrocketed. But you can still see parts of the older Wicker Park in the architecture, music venues, murals, galleries, and some of the independent businesses that are still here. Now let's get away from the busy streets for a minute. This is the part of Wicker Park that people sometimes miss if they only visit North Damon and Milwaukee. Once you walk onto streets like Hoyne, Pierce, Evergreen, and Schiller, the neighborhood feels completely different. You have tree-lined blocks, historic gray stones, brownstones, brick 2-flats, 3-flats, older single-family homes, and newer construction mixed in between them. Some of the most beautiful homes in Wicker Park are tucked onto these quieter residential streets. And this is why I don't want you to judge the entire neighborhood based only on the Six Corners. But even within the residential part of Wicker Park, you still need to pay attention to exact location. Some people want to be right in the middle of everything, and others prefer quieter parts. It's really about knowing which version of Wicker Park you want. Before I give you the numbers, I'm Dee Savage. I lived in Chicago for 27 years, and for the last 24 years, I've been helping people move to Chicago and within Chicago. And these numbers are pulled straight from the MLS, not from Zillow estimates. So this is what homes actually sold for. Now let's talk about what homes actually cost in Wicker Park. Based on the last 6 months of data from the MLS sales, 1-bedrooms are selling around $359,000, 2-bedrooms are around $581,000, and 3-bedrooms are around $825,000. This is only a part of the story. The median market time across all 3 categories was about 7 days or less, which is pretty incredible. 1-bedroom condos sold for 8% over asking, 2-bedroom sold for 4% over, and 3-bedrooms for about 2% over asking price. So even as the prices go up, we're still seeing buyers compete for good homes. And at the time I pulled these numbers, there were only 12 condos and townhomes for sale in the entire neighborhood. They ranged approximately from $330,000 to $1.6 million. So that tells you how low the inventory is here. And once you narrow these 12 homes by price, bedroom count, location, parking, and outdoor space, you may have only one or two that actually could work for you. So what does this mean if you're planning to buy here? It does not mean that you should automatically offer over asking every time a home becomes available. I'm not saying that. But it does mean that you should have your financing ready and be prepared to make a decision when the right home comes up, because there are not too many options to choose from and homes are moving fast. And when it comes to single family homes, the situation gets even crazier. Only 4 3-bedroom single family homes sold in the entire neighborhood during the last 6 months. That is less than 1 sale per month. The median price was about 1.4 million, but with only 4 sales, that number doesn't give us a complete picture of the single family home market here. There are homes that are selling for less, and there are larger homes that are selling for way more than that. The more important takeaway is how rarely these homes become available. If you want a single family home in Wicker Park, location, your budget, and wish list could be a bigger challenge than the price itself. And if you're looking at condos, remember to look beyond finishes. Pay attention to the HOA, reserves, upcoming repairs, special assessments, and the overall condition of the building. And if you drive, find out whether parking is included, because street parking can be difficult at night and on the weekends. Now let's head south towards Division Street. Now Division has its own personality, and in my opinion, it feels more polished than the area around the 6 corners. But the bigger difference is how much is packed into it. Most people who visit Wicker Park see 1 block of Division and they think they've seen the whole street. Walking east from Damon towards Blue Line, you have 4 straight blocks of restaurants and bars. Perch Kitchen and Tap brews its own beer and has one of the better patios out here. Elia is right next door doing Turkish and Mediterranean food, and it's one of the better looking rooms on the street. Alliance Bakery is a few blocks down, and it's been on the street for over 100 years, so that one is a real neighborhood institution. And when you get to Ashland, Milwaukee, you are at Division Blue Line stop. So depending on which part of the neighborhood you end up in, you'll be walking to either Division or Damon Blue Line, and either one gets you downtown. Now, if you walk west from Damon instead, that side has nicer diners. Now, west of Damon, you have Folklore, which is Argentine steakhouse, and Valhalla does an actual tasting menu. Now, here's the part the restaurant list doesn't tell you. All of that activity is exactly why people want to live near Division, and it's also the thing that you have to think about carefully. Being a block or 2 off Division gets you the walk to all of it, and living directly above or behind a busy restaurant or bar gets you deliveries in the morning, patio noise in the evening. And on this street, closing is later than people expect. Bourbon on Division runs until 4 in the morning on weekends. So if you're looking at a condo on Division, find out what's directly below you and what's directly behind you before you write an offer. For some buyers, being in the middle of that is the whole reason they pick this neighborhood. For others, 1 or 2 blocks off Division is a completely different way to live. One reason Wicker Park works so well for many young professionals is that everyday life is very convenient and everything is walkable. You can get to coffee, meet someone for lunch, work out, run errands, and go out for dinner without spending your entire day in a car. If fitness is important to you, there's a lot here. Boutique studios, big gyms, yoga, Pilates, spin, and most of it is walkable from anywhere in the neighborhood. Barry's back on Milwaukee and Solid Core over on Damon are just the 2 that you'll walk past on this route, but there's so many more. And then if you prefer being outdoors, you have the 606 trail nearby, which is great for walking, running, and biking. Now let's keep walking toward the 606. The 606, also called the Bloomington Trail, is an elevated trail built along a former railroad line. It runs 2.7 miles, about 17 feet above the street, from Ashland all the way west to Ridgeway. You can start here in Wicker Park and end up in Bucktown, Logan Square, or Humboldt Park without crossing a single intersection. That's the part that people underestimate. You're not walking on a sidewalk next to the traffic. You are up above it with a separate lane for bikes and separate lane for people on foot. There are 12 access points along the trail, roughly every quarter mile, so getting on and off is easy from most of this side of the city, and it changes how people use the neighborhood. You'll see runners at 6 o'clock in the morning, people biking to work, parents with strollers, dogs, and in the summer, it's busy all day. So if you run or bike regularly, having this a few blocks from your front door, and it's worth real money on resale too. Homes near an access ramp are in demand with buyers who plan to use the trail, and that shows up what they sell for. So who is Wicker Park a good fit for? If you want energy, walkability, great restaurants and shopping, beautiful residential streets, and easy access to downtown and O'Hare on the Blue Line, Wicker Park is hard to beat. But if you don't want to be near a lot of people and you want quiet, affordable neighborhood, this probably isn't the right fit. And here's the biggest thing to know before you move here. Your experience can change drastically depending on where you live. Right on Milwaukee Division or North Avenue, you're in the middle of action. 1 or 2 blocks away, you can walk to everything and still come home to a quiet street. And with inventory this tight, knowing which version you want before you start looking really matters. That is exactly what I help people moving to Chicago figure out. I also put together a free Chicago relocation guide. You can scan the QR code or download it below. And if you're thinking about moving to Chicago, my number is on the screen. And subscribe for more Chicago neighborhood tours and market updates. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Dee Savage, and I hope to see you in the next one.